because I want to get the public's input as far as what their concerns are about Montrose before we move forward on it. Because again, not to put you on the spot, Bradley, but we still haven't gotten a definite yes or no. It's more of a, I mean, and I look, I can't blame you because you really don't know what's going to happen. But at the same time, can we at least ask you, are you for or against it?
That's a difficult question, actually. I'm not for it. Let's be clear. And I don't think that, I think everyone recognizes the uniqueness of that area, right? And we don't want to change that. That is one why we kind of throttled the number that's being studied, but also why the city council and staff has not recommended to move forward with any sort of consideration for development there. Again, us declaring SLA, the question kind of kept coming up, is not positioning us to do something. It was a defensive position. Does it turn out to be the right one? I sure as hell hope so, especially after all the stuff that we've gone through here. But this is exactly what we want to hear back from the community. If that's their concern, that they're worried that later on down the line, something's going to happen, even if we gave a little bit of flexibility here, that's great. Then that's the concerns that we can share with council. And then maybe that changes what happens in this study. Because it is just a study right now. It's not even a plan at this point. It's just a study. It's a draft plan that still has to run through environmental review. I don't think that very high density housing is appropriate in that area. It does not make sense. Typically when you do affordable housing, you put it close to job centers. You put it close to major transit centers. Neither one of those things exist there. It's not an appropriate location for that. Council has expressed no sentiment to want to do anything with it. Our recommendation is not to do anything with that property. Right now, it's a study, we believe, from a defensive position. And based on this feedback we get from the community, that very well could change this plan. What I would hope, if we're moving on to another subject here, is there's not a development proposal. There is not 500 units being considered. We are just in a study phase. We are accepting public comments. In fact, we had a window that was going to close. We have extended it indefinitely for now. We want to keep getting this feedback. And again, we're not here to try to sell this idea. If the community does not like this at all and doesn't like this, either what's being studied or even the defensive position, great, tell us. We are going to log that. We're going to catalog it. We're going to give that back to the council. That's going to be considered as part of in our environmental review as well. Our job here is not to sell this, but we are studying it. We are considering potential changes because of that kind of defensive position we find ourselves in.
There you go. Now, Beth had mentioned also, she's like, how she mentioned about Central Avenue, where I don't remember when they initially started building, but there was about a 3 to 5 year period of time. If you had left Glendale and come back, you wouldn't recognize Central Avenue. You'd be like, where am I? Right? Because there was so much development. So looking back at that, I don't know if you were in the city back, because you came in 2018, right? Those were already built. Yeah. So looking back at, let's say, some of those projects, or even there's the Sears building, old Sears building there on Central, which I've heard there's talks about, again, residential, affordable housing and all that. How were those decisions made back then? And what have you guys learned from it? And what's going to be different this time around?
That is a really good question. And I think it actually goes back to, and maybe helps with the community as well, and trying to understand the process and how council and staff respond to some of these concerns. There was a plan, the downtown specific plan. I don't remember the exact year that was created. It was before I got in here. That was encouraging higher density downtown. It made sense, right? The idea at that time was to create an 18-hour city is what we call it. So there's a lot of activity for an 18-hour window, right? People work, they play, they live here. And we have achieved that. I mean, downtown is a thriving environment. Whether you agree or like it or not, it's a thriving, attractive place to be. But what happened, ironically, was the night before I had my actual final interview for the assistant director position in 2018, the city council put a moratorium in place to pause all development in downtown. And it was because there was a dissatisfaction from the community, from the council, in those developments not being emblematic, I think, of what people wanted to see in terms of the quality, the design, the public benefits that went along with it. And the first task we had here at the city was to reinvent that downtown specific plan. You couldn't build any residential in downtown for about a year. And we went back and rewrote that entire plan to make sure that future developments looked better, provided public benefits back to the community. And that was really in response to what people were very frustrated by, because it did change dramatically. I think there's 3,500, 5,000 units that were built in the 3 to 5 year window then.
If you enjoyed this short clip, go ahead and click here to watch the full episode. And make sure to click here to subscribe to our channel to watch all other episodes of the WiseNuts podcast.